Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we'll start off with a look at this week's school board election results, as well as results on the school's budget. In other school news, Amy Fisher talks with Dr. Phyllis Klugerman about this summer's enrichment program. And we'll take a look at Chittick School's multicultural fair. Quietude Garden Gallery on Fern Road will be opening this weekend with a new exhibit. And spring has sprung all over town, and that means the annual Daisy Spring Fair will be here soon, and coordinators Ron Wisniewski and Nikki Rick will have some information about the upcoming festivities. Also, a review of this week's town council meeting, and more, but first, here's a look at Channel 8 programming next week. Monday morning at 10, Lenore Kulick gets you in shape on Look Great, Feel Great, followed at 10:30 by Stories from the Library. Tuesday evening at 7, EB18 has information on traveling. At 7:30, Sports Talk reviews East Brunswick High School's winter sports season with Supervisor of Athletics Frank Knoppenberger. Wednesday evening at 7:30, hear the inspirational story of pianist Anna Maria Trenchi di Buttazzi on For Art's Sake, followed by the arts at 8 p.m. We'll be back with another edition of This Week in East Brunswick Thursday evening at 7 and 8 p.m. And at 7:30 p.m. Thursday, Aging Aspects with Patty Sullivan looks into the Alzheimer's Support Group. Be sure to check the Channel 8 Community Bulletin Board for recasts of all of our shows and community information. Residents of East Brunswick went to the polls on Tuesday to elect 2 incumbents and 1 newcomer to the Board of Education and to defeat this year's school budget. The budget was narrowly defeated by a margin of just over 200 votes. East Brunswick residents, along with residents in 12 other districts in central New Jersey, sent a strong message to the local school boards to keep tax increases at a minimum. The budget will now go to the Township Council for final cuts and approval. Re-elected to the school board were Patrick Sir and Nancy Paulson. Patrick Sir served this past year as the board president and received 2,854 votes. Nancy Paulson, the candidate who received the most votes with 3,096, served this year as the vice president of the Board of Education. Also elected to the board was newcomer Michael K. Baker. Baker, the director of human resources for Toys R Us Company, received the second highest number of votes with 2,947. Baker takes over the seat of incumbent Russell Walker. The voter turnout on Tuesday was the highest since 1982.
As many of you may remember, I ran unsuccessfully for this position last year. Being new to the process and not well known throughout the community, I was at a supreme disadvantage. It was, however, immensely gratifying to me that over 1,400 of my fellow neighbors and friends cast their votes on my behalf. I felt energized by the fact that I got my message across and did as well as I did. After getting over my disappointment, I made a conscious decision to continue to be an aggressive advocate for our school system by regularly attending board meetings as well as serving on the Board of Education's Policy Committee. I was not, however, sure until 2 months ago whether or not I would throw my hat into the ring again at election time. That decision was made for me by a resident whose comments at a board meeting still ring loud and clear in my head. With much emotion, this public-spirited citizen said, "Why do the kids of East Brunswick always need the best of everything? If their parents want the best of everything, let them send them to private school." It is that comment that brings me before you this evening. It is outrageous to me that anyone should think that our children don't deserve the best of everything, as our parents felt about us and as I know I feel about my responsibility as a father. It is not possible to have the best of everything, and board members must remain fiscally responsible at all time. But it is indeed the responsibility of every board member to strive for nothing less than the best.
Our schools continue to be recognized as one of the very best in the state and the nation. We must continue to ensure that our children, our most important investment in the future, are given the foundations upon which dreams can be realized.
As a board member and a resident of East Brunswick, I'm extremely proud of our school system. The achievements of our students are truly magnificent. Each year, more East Brunswick students are selected to attend the prestigious Governor's School than from any other school district in Middlesex County. The SAT scores are continually increasing year after year. Our girls' soccer team was ranked #1 in the country. 3 of our schools have been designated as schools of excellence by the United States Department of Education. The list goes on and on. These accomplishments are made possible by students who are motivated, by a dedicated and hardworking staff, by parents who provide a strong involvement in their children's education, and by a community who has proven that they too care about the future of our children and our town. While we can all take a great deal of pride in these accomplishments, we must not become complacent. We cannot sit back and rest on our laurels.
Hi, I'm Amy Fisher. Today I'm at the high school with Dr. Phyllis Klugerman, who is our supervisor of summer school. And although summer seems a long time away, she's busily planning for our summer enrichment programs. Phyllis, could you tell us some of the changes that are taking place this year?
Sure. One of the most exciting changes that I really feel very good about is that we're going to be offering the enrichment program to students in grades 1 and 2, which is a first. And the reason for the excitement is because these children are so curious and so creative and so willing that we like to tap on these talents early on, because it gives them an opportunity to learn about their own skills and their own talents for hobbies or maybe for vocation early in their life.
Well, what grade levels are the summer enrichment programs for?
We have 2 different age groups. One will be grouped grades 1 and 2. That's a first. And then the others will be grouped 3 through 5.
And what are the courses that are offered?
We have an art program that deals with painting and drawing and paper mache and masks, collages, all kinds of things. And it's almost a one-on-one. The child chooses what they would like to deal with and pursues their own creation at their own speed, and it's wonderful. And we also have a computer course where there will be also a lot of creativity, a lot of input and learning the ins and outs of the computer, and then science that will cover a gamut of areas.
When will the summer school run?
It starts on the 29th of June and goes through the 27th of July.
Great. How would people register for these courses?
The brochures are in the schools now, so that you can just pick up a brochure. The application is inside the brochure. Fill it out, give it back to the school, and they'll get it to us.
Okay, Phyllis, thank you very much for being here, and good luck with your summer school program.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm very excited about the summer. Thanks for having me.
Spring has come to East Brunswick, and with it, the reopening of Quietude Garden Gallery at 1 p.m. on Sunday, April 24th. I'm Sheila Tao, the owner of Quietude, and this marks the beginning of our 6th year of showing original contemporary sculpture here in East Brunswick. The opening shows will feature the works of Tom Doyle and Elaine Lorenz. Tom Doyle is one of the most important sculptors of our times. He is among the first generation of abstract expressionists. His work spans 4 generations, from the wooden abstractions of the late 50s to the fluid gestural abstractions of the 80s and the 90s. The daring balances he achieves creates tension with great emotional depth. Elaine Lorenz's concern for nature and the environment propel her to create her sculpture. There is something timeless in Lorenz's work, since many are in the form of pyramids or obelisks, indicating a connection to the past. Her organic sculptures express the struggle of life by contrasting industrial concrete with living plants. These plantings either live or die, making a powerful statement about our tenuous relationship with our surroundings. I'd like to invite all of you to come and see the wonderful work that we have on display here at Quietude. Our hours are Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 to 5. We open at 1 o'clock on April 24th, which is the first Sunday that we're open. We'll see you soon at Quietude.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Wisniewski.
And I'm Nikki Rick, and we're back.
It's Daisy Spring Fair time in East Brunswick, New Jersey. The fair starts on Monday, Memorial Day, May 30th at the County Fairgrounds, along with probably the biggest fireworks East Brunswick is going to see, with a double finale. Shirley Mangrum from Nashville Station in Tennessee, along with the Shirelles as an oldie show. Nikki, go on.
We have mud wrestling, we have professional wrestling, we have lots of things planned for the fair this year, lots of new things. We have the parade. Ronnie, tell them about the parade.
Parade is going to be sensational. That's going to be the highlight on Friday night of the fair. We're going to bring in clowns. The circus people will have the elephants, the animals, jugglers, string bands, fire apparatus. It's just going to be something new. We're going to start out in Fern Road, go to the fairgrounds, and just a new glow to the fair. A family atmosphere with the clowns along are going to make Friday night's parade a very big successful evening. Saturday and Sunday the fair opens at 12 noon. Nikki?
We have a lot of things planned. On Thursday we have DARE.
DARE is back for the second year in a row, I guess. They give away a bicycle at the fair. It's a night where there's a reduced coupon for the kids throughout the schools in East Brunswick, and it's just, it brings out the children in town, makes a wonderful evening. It's on pay one price night, and it makes the fair just great again.
We have the half-price ride tickets also that you can pick up at the recreation department, or you can come see me at the post office. I'll also have them.
Stardust Pools will have them on Route 18 at their store also, and again, there will be more places. We'll tell you as time goes on. It's the 7th annual. I can't emphasize more. The fair is growing. It's going to be just sensational. We encourage the whole town to come out and support this great event, and we thank you for your support in the past, and Daisy is becoming better as the years go by because of people out there like you.
Thanks, and we'd like to welcome you to come to the Daisy Fair.
This past Wednesday, children over at Chittick School celebrated their multicultural fair, celebrating cultures from around the world. Here's a look.
This week is National Library Week. To celebrate, the library's Youth Services Department, like others throughout the country, sponsored the Great American Read Aloud. Children read to an audience from their favorite stories. Here's a sampling from Wednesday night's event.
Tonight, the old woman said, I am going to tell you how to recognize a witch when you see one. Can you always be sure, I asked. No, she said, you can't, and that's the trouble. But you can make a pretty good guess. Look for the nose holes, my grandmother said. Witches have slightly larger nose holes than ordinary people. The rim of each nose hole is pink and curvy, like the rim of a certain kind of seashell. Why do they have such big nose holes, I asked. For smelling with, my grandmother said. A real witch has the most amazing powers of smell.
I'm reading a book called The Haunted Mass by R.L. Stein. She heard a laughter at another table. Someone yelled, way to go, Steve. She wiped her head around to see if her friend Steve Boswell standing behind her, a mischievous grin on his face. "Gotcha," he said, letting go of his shoulder. Steve pulls out the chair next to Carla Beth's and lowered himself over its back. His friend Chuck Green slammed his book bag on the table and then sat down by Sarah Bina.
Look for more excerpts of the Read Aloud on upcoming editions of Just Kidding. At Monday night's Township Council agenda meeting, several residents, along with employees of the Department of Public Safety, came out in support of the proposed public safety communication system. We'll have more on that in a minute, but first, Mayor Ira Oskowski presented a proclamation honoring Grange Week in East Brunswick.
Whereas the Grange has always had a special interest in agriculture, and whereas the Grange is a grassroots organization where the legislative policies begin at the local level, and whereas the Grange is an organization where individuals can meet the challenge of today to strengthen communities in America, and whereas the Grange is a place to assume a productive leadership role in community involvement, community service, and community development, and whereas the Grange is doors swinging open for families and individuals who are concerned with the Grange's philosophy of achieving positive change through action, now therefore be proclaimed that I, Ira Oskowski, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, do hereby proclaim that April 24th through April 30th, 1994, be set aside for Grange Week to have the opportunity of inviting neighbors and friends in for a time of celebration and a time to learn what Grange is all about. The Grange door is always open.
Several local organizations were recognized for their efforts in contributing food baskets for East Brunswick's needy families during the holiday season.
Whereas during these times of financial recession, with its attendant plight of joblessness and homelessness, many families are often confronted with difficult decisions and bewildering choices every day in an increasing complex society. And whereas many volunteers, both individually or as a group, have generously offered to provide some of East Brunswick's needy families with food baskets and special gifts to help them enjoy the holidays. Whereas these individuals possess the caring and humanitarian qualities that compel them to work unselfishly to provide the necessary assistance to their neighbors who are in need. And whereas it is appropriate to honor those who selflessly give of their time and of themselves in order to improve the quality of life for others, now therefore be proclaimed that I, Ira Oskowski, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, do hereby commend you for your generous contributions of service and extend my thanks on behalf of a grateful community for the caring and kindness that you have shown to those who are less fortunate.
Several police officers, firefighters, and rescue squad members filled the council chambers in support of a proposed public safety communication system. Police officials say that the 17-year-old system now in place no longer meets the needs of the township. Police Captain Fred Laurie explained the shortfalls of the current system.
However, the project being presented this evening has a special urgency in that it impacts directly on the safety and welfare of the residents and employees of East Brunswick Township. This project concerns the manner in which communications, or a lack of communications, affect the safety of township employees, the men and women of the Department of Public Safety, and our volunteer emergency service workers, whose efforts are coordinated to provide a safe environment for everyone who lives, works in the township, as well as those who visit our community. Our township has grown residentially and commercially since the activation of our radio system some 17 years ago. Over the years, the system has grown to 480 system users in over 20 functional subsets, using the original 3 radio frequencies in a manner similar to a 3 telephone party line. The age, heavy usage, and number of frequencies have contributed to a system that no longer serves the needs of our township.
Council members tentatively supported the plan, but weren't ready to give the go-ahead without further study. Councilman Joe Hudak suggested a committee be formed to study the proposal and the department's needs. The proposed system has a $3 million price tag,
which if approved could cost the average homeowner another $25 a year in taxes.
Hi, I'm Judith Lebline, Director of Recreation Parks and Community Services, and boy do we have a news scoop for you. You're going to get an inside tour of Crystal Springs on today's news. I know you're all painfully curious about what's going on down here at Crystal Springs. Many of you drive by every day, and we've even had people call and say, "What's going on out there? I can't see anything." And of course, being a construction site, you can't come on. But today, you're going to have a bird's eye view of what's happening here down at Crystal Springs. Behind me are the buildings. They will be the last thing that will be rehabilitated. Of course, they'll all be fully handicapped accessible. And you will see something new. You're going to see a Crystal Springs gift shop. You'll be able to get towels or suntan lotion or that little item you forgot or a little souvenir to remember, especially Crystal Springs in its inaugural year. There'll be lots of new landscaping here as well. The other building over here is the food concession. Many of you that were regular beachgoers remember the food concession, and that'll be operated by Pacific Enterprises, and it's got a wonderful menu, very, very affordable, and you'll be seeing a whole new look with a patio and tables and chairs and umbrellas, and I think you will just love to come to Crystal Springs just for lunch. One of the most interesting parts of this whole construction project is this lake. Right now, I'm standing in one of the deepest parts of the old Dallenbach Lake. What we've done is actually reduced it in size. We brought in tons and tons of fill, filled this area, and then compacted it with that huge compaction machine we showed you on another edition of the show. What you'll be able to do here, those of you that are fans of the old Dallenbach Lake, is be able to sit around the lake and enjoy its beauty and even visit with some of its inhabitants. Besides the newly engineered pond that we have with the beautiful fountains here at Crystal Springs, there's of course still the main lake at Dallenbach, which still offers some of the best fishing anywhere around, and that will continue. We're also hope to add boating. You may remember we used to have paddle boating at Community Beach, and we hope to reintroduce paddle boating very soon. I'm in the family pool, which will be known as Blue Lagoon. This is a zero-depth entry pool, and it's primarily designed for families. It'll have some sprinklers, and you'll see some of those pipes coming up, the return pipes, and there'll also be some sprinklers here. This will be the place that most families will want to congregate. It also serves as the mouth of the lazy river, which we know as Cozy Creek. And you'll be able to enter the river on this side, take a ride around the river as many times as you'd like, and then exit from over here. In the final plan, you'll see a beautiful island in the middle of Blue Lagoon. And within the next few days, this will actually be poured floor of the family pool. I'm in Cozy Creek. Cozy Creek is a lazy river. There's over 700 feet for you to float around with your family in tubes. You can see that this is a steel mesh formed river, and it's done with a process called gunniting, which is Aquatic Builders is doing right here on site. They're mixing their own cement and actually blowing these walls. These walls were completed just yesterday, and you can see burlap kept on top to keep them moist. And eventually there'll be an epoxy paint that'll make it very smooth to the touch and beautiful blue color. I'm standing right where Bubble Beach will be very soon. Bubble Beach is the children's pool, and that has all the interactive activities and the beautiful animals, and there will actually be 2 slides miniaturized for miniature people. And that will be here. That'll be the last pool poured, because that's actually a shallow dish. It doesn't take much excavation, and it's really the finishing touch on Crystal Springs. The actual control center for Crystal Springs will be in this filter pump house, which we're digging a foundation for now. This area had to be dewatered, and that's that octopus-like structure you see. It pulled some water out of the groundwater long enough for us to dig a very deep foundation. This is where the pumps and the filters and all the pipes from all the pools at Crystal Springs will go. It's really a chemically controlled, computer-controlled command center. There's a terrific children's playground planned for Crystal Springs, and it's called the Sand Pit. This is the location for the sand pit, and right now we're storing some bulk sand here. It'll be handicapped accessible, and you'll be able to dig with backhoes, just like we did all winter here at Crystal Springs. Some of you have been asking me, I don't see any buildings going up. Where are all the structures? Why aren't things coming up out of the ground? Well, that's the very last thing to happen. Right now, the restroom building, some shelter buildings, and even a bridge is going to be brought down, already fabricated. This earthen bridge will eventually be replaced by a prefabricated bridge, which will be a pedestrian and a vehicle bridge, so that you can get from one side of the park to the other, and you'll go right over the lazy river. Most of the work here at Crystal Springs is frankly underground. You can see an installation of a new main today. By the way, Aquatic Builders is from Cohoes, New York, but all these workers are from local unions here in New Jersey. So this project has also provided some jobs for people in our region. Behind me here is the lap pool. This will be the home of the Sandpipers. In fact, it's called Sandpipers Cove. There's only one more wall left to go. It's 8 lanes. It'll be available for fitness swimmers all day long, and it'll also be available for general recreation. Very soon, this pool will be complete. What you've really been waiting to see is the slide tower and the slides, but that will be absolutely last. That's also being fabricated elsewhere. Up on that hill, among those trees, will be the home of the slide. For the first year, it'll have 2 slides, one open flume and one closed flume. You slide down just your body, no tubes. And next season, if all goes as planned, there'll be a 3rd slide for everyone to enjoy. This pool is Crisscross Canal, and this is going to be the most active pool at the site. This pool will be very popular with our teenagers and our preteens. It has lily pads that you try to hold onto a net and walk across and balance yourself. And there'll be a log roll like the loggers of old that can try to balance yourself on that log. We expect this to really be an active, noisy site where kids will have lots of fun. And here's a little inside information. I recently ordered all of the toys and the amenities for this pool from a company that also supplied Disney World for their new upcoming attraction, Blizzard Beach. They told me that this pool is the exact pool that will be at the new Blizzard Beach at Disney World. And that's because Heary International was not only our design firm, but also worked for Mickey Mouse. The entire community is really excited about Crystal Springs, and nearly 1,700 families have bought into a summer at Crystal Springs. There's still some room for you, so please make sure to get your membership now before we're a complete sellout. You don't want to miss the great big opening on the 4th of July.